Hello, everyone, and welcome to Transformers for Your Listening Pleasure, TFYLP, episode number 231, recorded January 28th, 2017. I am your host, Duron Land, a.k.a. Weird Wolf. Along with me this evening is Headmaster Don.
Hey, everybody.
Jackal.
Hey, everybody.
And Maroni Prime. And his mic is not not working.
Wow, hi.
There we
go.
Yeah, but whatever Duron told you about me, it's probably true.
It usually is, yeah.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Sadly
I had the wrong
true.
button there. That was my bad.
Yeah, I thought there for a moment you were trying to mime or something. It's like,
Yeah.
That'd be an awesome career choice.
as if he's not bad enough speaking. We got a whole episode full of mime.
yeah.
Just call it mime time.
A mime is a terrible thing to waste, I'll have you know.
Face palms galore.
Yes.
Yes.
So, tonight we're going to be talking a little bit about if you were
Our
on the,
favorite subject.
Yes, if you were on the Facebook group, the TFYLP Facebook group a short while ago, I gave a little heads up to what we're going to be talking about tonight. We're going to since this is the 10th anniversary year. God, I can't believe it's been 10 years.
Oh my God, no.
Yeah,
I know.
It's been 10 years since the 2007 movie franchise started. 7707. I remember. Matter of fact, I think I still got one with magnets.
I do. Mine's on my refrigerator. I still have it.
Yeah, my girlfriend, she's got one of the magnets on her fridge, but I remember they had them. One of the BotCons they had. I think it was the one in Lexington. They had like stacks and stacks of them. They just giving them out.
I've got the Decepticon one on my refrigerator, holding up a picture of my niece and my nephews. And it was just the logo, and below it had 747, and I thought that was funny when they had the original date, because it's like 747, like a jet.
Mm-hmm.
But then they pushed it back a day due to
that's right,
fan demand, and then the local theaters in my area up around at the time I was living in Terre Haute, they pushed it back not only to a midnight showing on the 2nd, then they pushed it back 4 more hours. So when I saw the premiere of the first movie, I saw it at 8 p.m. on the 2nd, like 2 days early.
Huh, nice.
So epic win.
Yeah, I remember seeing it on opening night. It was, I remember a packed house, and I was just so giddy. I was with my ex at the time, and we went and saw it, and I'll never forget hearing that Transformer sound the very first time.
Yeah.
But I think in retrospect, I don't recall hearing it in the Blu-ray or DVD. I'm not sure if it's there.
Blackout when he transformed.
Yeah, whenever he transformed. But I remember a packed house. But fast forward to Age of Extinction. I went to the midnight showing here, and I was the only person in the theater to see it that night. I had the entire theater to myself to see Age of Extinction on its opening night here in my home, or in my town here. I mean, the live action movies they've had their triumphs, they've had their failures. We're going to talk a little bit about those tonight. We're going to talk about the toys, some of the great toys that's come about, some of the not so great toys that's come about. And some of the things that we kind of wish that we would get a hold of, or that we could have gotten. And I want to thank Don for suggesting this topic in our private group there. I was kind of at a loss to what we might be talking about tonight, and he posed it up there, and I'm like, it's kind of good. We need to start talking about some live action movie things, because 10 years, guys. 10 years.
10 freaking years.
Well, I just got to thinking that the closer we get to the release of the movie and the closer we get to the anniversary, everybody's going to be so drowning in movie news. Jumping ahead of that might be a little bit more interesting now versus when it could get lost in the shuffle closer to the movie release.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about it around the actual release of The Last Night. But for time being, I think there's plenty of things that we can talk about. I want to say hi to everybody that's watching us live right now on YouTube. Tekatron, Night Swords, Nebet Seda. Hi everybody. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to pose them in the live chat or tweet them at TFYLP. I'm monitoring the Twitter account, and I can actually show those on screen. So if you tweet us at TFYLP, we might talk about those on the show. Also, I also have the Facebook group pulled up, and the top pin post is the current episode. And if you comment in that, we may talk about that also on the show. Going back into the alsos. I want to talk about our sponsors, CapturedPrey.com. Great toys, great prices, great service. CapturedPrey.com, where you can save even more on domestic orders of $150 or more with free domestic shipping. CapturedPrey.com. Great toys, great prices, great service. And Mega Toy Fan. Maximize your collection while minimizing your cost with Mega Toy Fan. You can find great vintage toys at Mega Toy Fan at conventions year-round, such as TFCon, JoeCon, and many other great conventions. So check out megatoyfan.com. Before we go into our main topic of discussion tonight, I do want to talk a little bit about this guy. So if you're watching on the YouTube version, I'm holding up, or listening to the audio version, I'm holding up Titan Returns Hot Rod. I was able to get this guy this week. I haven't seen him at retail yet, but so graciously picked him up from our sponsor, Captured Prey. And I was happy to see that the Master Shooter Collectibles Master Shooter Bolt Action, which is the Hot Rod's or Firebolt Target Master, fits so well in the hand there, and it's also great in vehicle mode. That the 5mm clips clip onto the exhaust pipe on the side of the arm, so it clips on really nice. Any of you guys been able to pick this guy up?
Yeah, Hot Rod's one of the ones that I got for our Secret Santa episode just last month.
Oh yeah.
One of my favorite figures, I think.
He's got a really fun transformation.
Mm-hmm. It is. Hot Rod is actually by far one of my favorites. It's behind Power Master Prime, but I absolutely love him. He's just fun. Honestly, I find it an improvement on the Classics Deluxe because obviously articulation, because it's like the arms on that would barely go out due to the kibble.
Yeah.
And I just found that a lot better. Just nailed it.
But as good as the Classics was when it came out, Hot Rod was in sore need of an updated figure, and I think we got a really good one here.
I'm of the camp that I kind of liked the original Classics mold. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but for the time,
do too.
It was a great figure, and it's still great. It's just
I got 4 protector armors over there, and each one's got a Hot Rod in it. So I had no problem with the mold either. It's nice to get an update.
Yeah. I mean, and such a faithful one too. I'd like to see the Takara take on it. I'm kind of hoping that they'll do like chrome exhaust pipes and maybe a more anime-ish color scheme. But
if you want to make yourself feel old, just think the Classics 1.0 Rodimus came out 11 years ago. now.
A year before
Wow.
the movie.
Wow.
I mean, that's the around the same time we were still looking at teasers of the Mars rover, wondering what the Transformers would actually look like.
Little did we know that they
yeah.
would look like a fallen box of knives. But
Revenge of the Fallen Box of Knives.
Techatron on YouTube, he's saying that retail there where he's at is still Wave 1 and 2 Deluxes. Around here, all I see is like mind wipes everywhere. I mean,
I bought
I
the
still got
only.
like new stuff by me.
I bought the
like,
only.
got all. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, man. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I still have pretty much new stuff around me. I mean the only figure I haven't found at all is Wolfwire. Everybody else I found but him.
Check your Walgreens if you got in Walgreens. They're pricey, but no, that's probably.
I got
that's
two
an
of them.
alternative.
I check them when I can, but I still couldn't find them.
There's
Frickin'
one
thing.
Wolfwire in stock at my local Kmart.
wow, you have a
I
Kmart
have to
still?
see it anywhere else. Yeah, barely.
Yeah,
I
we
was
still
at
got
my-
like two.
It's sad looking, actually. But
Yeah, I was
still
I was
open.
at my Kmart today, as a matter of fact, and for the first time since before Christmas, they got in new Transformers, and it was the RID wave with the new molds with
no Combiner Force.
Oh. Storm Shot, and Blast Charge. Blast Charge?
No,
The one that's
yeah,
the one that's gonna be blood.
the Bludgeon Redeco, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Storm Shot is off. If you get a chance, you get Storm Shot. He's
I've
really
seen
cool
it in person. It is pretty nice looking, although hollow.
and simple, but he looks great.
But yeah, I actually got a Toys R Us gift card for Christmas, for a $25 gift card, and I've been waiting to go to Toys R Us so I can, maybe get something there. And they restock right around the first of the year, which is surprising for the Toys R Us's around here. But what was not surprising is that they were nothing but RID2 Combiner Force Deluxes. And so they have a crap ton of those and none of the Titan Return stuff. And the
Pretty
stuff that they
much.
do is like really old.
Yeah,
Well,
that's all of mine right now. To where
Yeah,
it's
I mentioned this on RFC. I saw Soundwave for the first time in the wild this week. And that's the first Soundwave I've ever seen in the wild. And some stores still have, like my local Walmart, still has Armada Megatron on the shelf.
Oh,
my Target still
wow.
has Skywarp.
Yeah, I saw Soundwave as well as a Target here in Indy, and there was actually the same time I picked up the Kickback.
Yeah, and my Toys R Us got its first restock since before Christmas of Prime and Blaster. That's the first time, and they got one case in, and they just got restocked for the first time of Alpha Trion and Astro Train.
Now I've been seeing different posts, people finding Titan's Return Blaster for about $25 at some different places. I've not
Nowhere,
I've not
nowhere
found
around
it.
me.
I would
for
never
that
get that
price
lucky.
myself at Walmart. I've not found it for that price myself at Walmart or any of the major retailers. But there's a local shop around here called Disc Replay, and the one in Avon also happens to sell various toys. The different pop figures and things like that, as well as like the DVDs and games. And they actually had Alpha Trion and they had Blaster, and I was able to get Blaster for about $27.
Oh wow!
Wow.
So
And also, just to let all of our listeners know, I tweeted this out earlier in the week, but last time I stopped by my local Walmart, the tag was there, and the Megatron wasn't there at the time, so it must have been floating around the store. But apparently, they've marked down leader class figures to like $39.
That's
Huh.
not much of a
So-
markdown still.
No, but
Yeah.
well, it's
Still $5.
it's $5. Hopefully, it'll still be that price when the 6 shots start to hit.
that's the price of a Titan.
Please let it be that price.
I tell you what, it gets my goat every time I go into Walmart and I see a red clearance tag on it, and you see clearance price is like $39.99, original price $39.99.
Yeah.
And it's ploy marketing. You just see a red tag and you automatically think you're getting a deal.
Well, actually, no. Sometimes it's basically, I've worked retail a lot. Sometimes what it is basically towards the holidays, because we did this when I was with other companies. The stuff is getting pushed to the floor so much, so you're stickering it because the stuff gets moved around by both customers and associates. So you just sticker everything so that way everyone knows the price without having to hunt down a scanner because everything gets moved around so much. So sometimes it's a matter of, does it have labels? Yes. Put a sticker it so people knows how much it is. So sometimes it's really just because that's what's in the gun.
Well, I'm talking about stuff in the clearance aisle.
I got you. I got you.
You brought up another thing too, stickers. I don't know if anybody was able to pick up any of these. The official Titan Return stickers from the Hasbro Asia Titan Returns figures. This one here has Blaster and Sound Blaster and Soundwave, Dark Moon, and Astral Train, Wolfwire, Highbrow, Chrome Dome, Mindwipe, and Alpha Trion. And I've applied Mindwipe, I've applied Wolfwire, and Highbrow. And Wolfwire, the Weird Wolf, it really didn't do a whole lot for it, honestly. It added some nice red accents, but Mindwipe and Highbrow are phenomenally better, in my opinion. I don't have Soundwave or Sound Blaster. I plan on getting a Soundwave eventually. Dark Moon and Astral Train, I want the Takara version because of the anime color scheme. And then I guess as soon as I get done with this sheet, I still need to apply Stylor or Chrome Domes. But Jim, since you bought my Alpha Trion, I'll probably send you the remainder of the sheet with Alpha Trions on it. Oh. But I do want to state that I'm a little bit pissed at these, mainly because they are not really cut all that well, and the ones that are cut are overcut. I don't know if you can see, but they literally cut all the way through the sheet. So you're trying to remove the sticker from the sheet, and it removes the back too. And the back also happens to have the instructions, and it's not directly behind the figure that you are trying to sticker. So if you haven't stickered the one that you are removing the back from, leaves you big gaping holes going, I wonder where the hell this sticker's supposed to go. So, yeah, big fail there.
Yeah, so that's an execution failure, I believe, there.
But then there's some that are undercut, and I don't know if you can see this on the thing. There's a couple of them on Wolfwire. This one right here was not even cut on one side, and it's one of the ear stickers. And, yeah, it drove me mad. And then, of course, the sticker instructions on the back, if it wasn't bad enough that you have gaping holes trying to figure out where they're going, they're also the gray-on-gray instructions, so it's not very clear as to where most of them go. And the one on Wolfwire, the two big stickers, I thought it looks like they go on the shoulder, on the back of the shoulder, but I couldn't find a nice flat place where they would fit. And I hate stickers that curl over edges.
Yeah.
So, I really hate that.
OCD every time that happens.
But, you guys have any experience?
If you end up getting those sets, it might be worth taking and putting the sticker or the instructions on maybe a flatbed scanner and scanning them before you go peeling any of the stickers off, just in case.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Now I'm not much of a sticker I might throw if it comes with labels, I might throw an Autobot or Decepticon sticker on there, or if the sticker is some important deco that like breaks up, like if I had Metroplex, I definitely want to sticker it up to break up that swath of white on the chest, just all that white plastic. I would have definitely either bought the Toy Hacks labels or done something along those lines. But I'm just not much of a sticker. It's just I kind of like the figures as they are. But again, it just depends on the character. And I wanted to buy like the repo label for Alternator's Wheeljack, but that was way above my skill level. So I thought, I'll just set them on the shelf.
Well,
and they'll look pretty.
I'm one of those people that I love stickering. I mean, sometimes if a well stickered bot just looks good. If you take your time, take an X-Acto knife or some tweezers or something other, take your time and place the stickers right, they look good.
That's what I did with the Encore Fort Max. I'm like, I'm just going to use a pair of tweezers, try to be careful, take my time, and he looks really good.
Yeah, I mean, and that's my opinion. I mean, now I hate stickers that that wear. I mean, you can get an old G1, and if it's been played well with, then the stickers tend to get a little ratty and faded, and scarred up, and that is a downside. But as a collector, I've got figures that I've had more than 10 years that I've stickered, and like from some of my reissues, and I transform them so infrequently, and they stay on display. The stickers stay pretty well mint, so. Techatron says, if you like stickering, I'd love Titan Returns Fort Max. I do have Generations Metroplex, so I have an idea of what that's like. It's like 99 stickers for that guy.
Yeah.
That might take quite a while, especially if you're a stickler.
Well, I'm one of those that I'll sit there and I'll take it, I'll put it on the end of an X-Acto knife, and I'll line it up, and
pretty much.
I'll test the placement of it, and then if I need to float it over, I mean, just one of these Titan Returns Deluxes would take me anywhere from a half hour to an hour to apply the stickers to where I'm satisfied with them.
Yeah, I wouldn't have that kind of patience, unfortunately.
But that's just me. I think it's part of the fun. Adds to the fun of the toy. But that was actually. I got this actually from our sponsor, Capture Prey. They're available on the Capture Prey website. I think they're about $8. I actually got this one. We installed a display in the Zone Comics here in Louisville. And if you are in the Louisville area, if you live here or if you are passing through, find the Zone Comics in Oxmoor or in that area. It's up off of Hubbard's Road. The Zone Comics, great little shop there. Go in and say hi to Dan. Check out the Moon Base for Capture Prey. You can actually buy Capture Prey products in there. And right now, you can actually see the production sample of Maki Toys' Devil Stinger, which is the third party, their version of Black Zarek. It is phenomenal and gigantic, and it is on display in a nice, pretty lit case that we put together.
Nice.
In the Zone right now. So if,
to this day, the Zone Comics, it's pretty neat. But that's the only place I've ever seen a Combiner Wars Skylinks in person. Only place, and they
saw one at BotCon.
No.
Yeah.
I'd have bought it. Is it the one I picked up for the Zone Comics? I picked up for a buddy of mine, Asquin from the Allspark, and I was going to pick up another for myself when we actually got to the show.
Mm-hmm.
I never saw one at the show.
I'm pretty sure I saw one there.
Just like I never saw Hound, I ended up having to buy yours.
Yeah. Did you ever fix that head, by the way?
Yes, I did. It took some finagling, but I was able to get it off there, and I took a little piece of sandpaper and just kind of went in a circle and kind of sanded it down a bit on the little ball joint.
So you popped the head off and then you rubbed on the ball just a little bit.
No.
Yes, I did.
Jeez.
Dawn is just sitting there like.
And now it's a floppy mess.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here looking good. That's okay.
That's not hard to do when you got a gin rye over your shoulder.
Yeah, and a bowl of coffee.
Bowl of coffee.
Not over your shoulder.
Yeah, when
Literally
a cup just
is
isn't
a
enough.
bowl of coffee. He
Yeah,
was drinking
literally.
coffee out of a bowl.
Because when a
Yes.
cup just isn't enough.
You know, used to, until you told us that was coffee, I thought you had been eating like a bowl of cereal and were drinking the milk out of it. And then you told us, no, that's coffee. I'm like, damn, Don, you and the caffeine, you should be bouncing off the walls by the end of this podcast.
Actually, when I was younger, I drank so much soda. Honestly, coffee actually makes me more relaxed. So it's just, coffee does not hype me up. If you want me hyped, I'll pop a couple of Benadryl, and I will be bouncing off the walls.
Benadryl? Isn't that supposed to, like, calm you down?
I'm the exact opposite. I'm the exact opposite. Benadryl will hype me up and make me... I'll be like Fry after that 100 cup of coffee. I'll be vibrating through other dimensions at that point.
I remember that episode. That was funny.
Yeah, Mike Boyle, he just commented, and I do remember seeing it. BBTS did, in fact, have Skylinks at BotCon. That's where I saw it at.
I think he was...
Must have been before I got there.
But I think they were 40, I think.
I didn't price one since I already had one, but
Yeah.
For a Voyager. Come on.
And-
Well, the problem was they probably had to scour every source they had just to get some. And so, heck,
Sure.
I've seen 3 in the wild, 2 were at Ross, and
I've not seen any in the wild at all. I had to get mine through BBTS.
two were at Ross. 1 was at my Acme Comics in Greensboro, North Carolina. Jermaine had picked up one through Diamond, and that was it.
wow.
Yeah, that's not real fair. We don't have a Ross up here in Indy. We've got Marshalls and we've got TJ Maxx.
Now,
Yeah, we got TJ Maxx.
Now, to all of our listeners, Rob Clay on RFC, Review Cybertron, found Year of the Monkey Optimus Primal, the Primal Prime recolors of that Air Attack Optimus from RID.
Mm-hmm.
They were found in store at Ross's for
Like $13, wasn't it?
no. Well,
Some places, but most places it's like $40 still.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, but I mean, I got that toy at 30, 38, 40. I like it for that price. If you can find it without paying shipping, it's a great toy. If you don't have the original Air Attack
One
version.
weird thing about that, I don't know if you've seen the video. It's on the internet somewhere, but they have replaced one of the sound effects on the Year of the Monkey Primal, and it's some little Chinese ditty. It's like a tink tink a tink a tink a tink tink a tink. I didn't know what it was, but it's something. Apparently, it has something to do with Year of the Monkey. I don't know, but check it out. It's on there somewhere. Just Google it somewhere.
At least it's not symbols clashing together.
Maybe there's a Year of the Cat, and it's one of those little.
Great. Something else that can hurt me.
Yeah. Maybe they'll make Year of the Cat out of Supreme Class Cheetor.
Yes.
Still got to get that signed.
Anyway, the less we talk about Supreme Cheetor, the better off everybody is.
But Supreme Class Cheetor is awesome.
Maybe in Mirror World, and he has a goatee, maybe.
I'd be okay with that.
You can draw one on there with a Sharpie.
There you go.
No, the toy may break.
Is it that fragile?
Yeah,
Could be.
It's not what you call the most sturdiest of structures.
Well, speaking about fragile, I think it's time to move on about ruining our childhoods and talking about the live action movies. Back in 2007, I think back and I'm like, like we said at the top of the show, I still can't believe it's been 10 years
Yep.
since these movies first started coming out. And I remember how jazzed I was about the prospect of live. Yeah, you saw what I did there. Live action Transformers on the screen. And then we saw what we got. Now, truth be told, the first movie was not all that bad in my opinion.
It's my favorite one of the bunch.
Yeah,
the first movie is my favorite.
Yeah. Was you getting ready to say something, Jim? Oh, you was just kind of ducking out there.
No, I was listening.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something. You just.
I can. Would you like me to?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh, the
anyway.
No, the first film, like you were saying, it was neat to finally see, our favorite robots in disguise, in disguise. I guess you can almost say in living metal. Finally on the big screen, live action. It was a new thing. Pardon me. And in a lot of ways, this movie helped innovate a lot of things that would be used in later films. Like we see in like Pacific Rim and Avengers and all that. And it was just really neat to finally see it. Hear Peter Cullen's voice come out of that semi after that prolonged transformation sequence. It was just unreal. And it really, you'd be 30, 35 years old, however old, you felt like a kid again. You're sitting there, and when his voice, when he starts to speak and introduces himself, you're right there, 4 years old, in a blanket, Saturday morning, bowl of cereal all over again.
I was 31 years old.
I was 36. I'm
33 now.
I was 31 years old when that movie came out. God, I'm old.
Gee,
I know I was a solid wee lad, only about maybe 5 foot nothing, but now I'm. When I was actually normal compared to other people.
That's tall for elementary school.
Yeah, but I'll say one thing, and I think this is something that I wanted to address before we got started about everything. The movies are probably one of the most divisive segments of the Transformer fandom out there, even probably more so than Kiss players. That's saying something.
I can agree with that.
Which was also around 10 years ago, wasn't it?
So, but I mean,
maybe a little before.
Whether you like the movies or hate the movies or whatever the case may be, I think one thing that needs to be said is that I do not think the Transformers would have the presence it does nowadays, and we as older fans would have the toys that we're getting nowadays without the revenue generated by the movies.
Absolutely.
I will not disagree with that in any way, shape, or form.
Because us getting because if you had told me 10 years ago we're going to have an entire line of basically headmasters or an entire line of combiners or even all the waves of generation and universe leading up to that.
Well, I'll be, I kind of pause there for a moment, Don. I'll defer with you on that aspect. I think the reason that we have a whole line of headmasters and straight up homages like Titan Returns and Combiner Wars and everything, not necessarily as a direct result of the movies, but more or less a changing of the guard at Hasbro. I mean, the whole mindset that they had there. I mean, we know from what Rick said that they had a whole different mindset. This crew that's in there now are doing things that they were either told not to do or didn't want to do just a couple years ago. So, but as far as the sheer number of toys we got, I think we could and attribute that.
And I'm just thinking, due to the amount of influx, the capital coming in, we're getting these bigger. We got the bigger characters. We've gotten, we got Metroplex. I'm not saying there's a direct correlation, but I'm saying all this money, all this revenue coming in, all these people coming into the fandom, people that have grown up and drifted out that have come back in, all of that is a cumulative effect. I believe is what we're seeing here with we're getting an Overlord figure after Sky Shadow comes out eventually. We're getting a Trypticon. We've gotten Metroplex. So I'm just saying this because even if you hate the movies and you have every right to like or hate them, I think their impact cannot be denied. Kind of like what we said for Beast Wars. Beast Wars could pretty much be saved as saving the franchise at that point. I think the movies contributed a lot of that to what we have now.
Well, it's the movie sucked in a lot more people, either that used to be a fan of the franchise or sucked them in to be fans of the franchise. Because there are collectors out there that's all they collect is movie lines. I mean,
that's how I started out.
Yeah, and the movies are their generation one. Mm-hmm. So in 30 years, you're going to get the Blu-ray hyper extended 6-hour version of the 2007 movie, or whatever the case. I
don't think there's that much footage. Night Sword said, "Remember, Don, the movies exist simply because the money Armada made."
I'm sorry. I think I was in a parallel universe there for a second.
But let's kind of talk about where the movies have gone since the first movie. I mean, we got the first movie, and I think we can all be in general consensus. It was not exactly up to what we expected, but it was not necessarily a disappointment, in my opinion.
It also could have been a lot of us went in with expectations way too high. Yeah. And
champagne wishes and caviar dreams of G1,
and
G1
nothing,
fan wank, and that didn't happen,
Yeah, it's just what we had, the mind canon, the head canon we had of what this. We were thinking it's going to be a live version of the '86 movie, this epic, huge scope.
Nope.
And what we got was good, but again, first movie of any franchise is going to have some issues.
On a Secret Service guy.
Yeah, but the Secret Service guy was fun.
Yeah,
and we had Peter Cullen. So I mean, my favorite part is when Sam meets the rest of the auto. That's my favorite clip is when they're driving down that back alley and Prime rolls up and that whole exposition.
That did bring a slight tear to my eye.
That big word. No.
Yeah.
So
exposition.
Yeah, thank you. That's my favorite part of the movie because you get to see all the characters. I wish they had taken one thing from the cartoons and each character would have gotten like a scene by itself transforming. Like for Cybertron, everyone had animated this one great epic transformation sequence that they would pull out from time to time, where it's just that one character in the tunnel, transforming. I kind of wish they had done that for the 2007 movie so you could focus. Because the one problem I have with all the movies, and this is probably because of my eyesight, I have trouble following what's happening on the screen.
Shaky cam.
Well, not just that, but there's so much detail on these figures. I didn't even realize Prime had gotten stabbed in Revenge of the Fallen until after I saw him fall down and was able to put the piece. It was moving so fast. There was so much detail and so much motion. I couldn't follow what was happening until Prime had already been, he's fallen and he can't get up. Well, what happened? Oh, he got stabbed, I'm literally having to backtrack in my head on what happened because now it did get better. Dark of the Moon and Age of Extinction, I didn't have near those like the fight scene in Age of Extinction with Hound and them fighting in China. I could follow the motion a lot better because it wasn't quite as herky-jerky, super close up, and you have no sense of your view. But that's the one thing I wish they would have done was focus on just the transformations for each character so you can get an idea of what's going on with that.
I'm just not a fan of the shaky cam, personally.
Pretty much. Yeah, that one really threw me off.
Sometimes it kind of gave me a little bit of motion sickness. I'll be honest. Especially if you go into a packed theater and you have to sit up close. I'm not one of those that likes to sit up really close to the screen, but if you have to sit up real close and you got all that shaky cam on there, it messes with my my equilibrium.
I was afraid of that when I saw Dark of the Moon. I saw it in 3D, which was my first 3D movie ever. And I was afraid with the way my eyes work, I would have been like, dizzy or something. And I wasn't. I really enjoyed the
surprisingly 3D doesn't bother me at all. Matter of fact, my TV in there is 3D, and it doesn't bother me at all.
But I like the '07 movie. I think it has some strong moments. I think it has some not so strong moments. It has Bernie Mac. That was always
hey, Bernie!
I absolutely love that part.
Yeah, Mishy Bernie. But I think the sequel is where you. But again, the sequel had its own issues, but.
Well, I think the sequel wasn't that written during the writer's strike.
It was issues.
I almost excuse the problems with Revenge of the Fallen. It's really not an excuse, but in a way it is.
It is
to why.
But there were still elements that
so bad,
like Devastator's
balls
attachments.
Yeah,
that's probably the one thing I will not excuse from Revenge of the Fallen.
Yeah, because that was like, I hate to say this, but it was kind of the low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
The whole mud flaps and skids.
Yeah, because no amount of problem with writing or them trying to write in those kind of conditions excuses the fact of what kind of made it to the screen and was created by the computer animators or the voice actors for those characters. That bad writing or writing issues does not translate into those kind of characters and those kind of moments.
I will say this about Skids and Mudflap, the twins. What we got as far as their personalities and all, and the vulgar humor, I think that was over the top.
Yeah.
However, they are some of my favorite designs from Revenge of the Fallen. I absolutely adore, and I wish
the asymmetrical faces and
right.
I would have liked them better if the faces had been more normal.
Well, that's part of the fun. Pardon me. I wish there must have been a bone in that iced tea. I don't know that we would have gotten the that team how they were originally intended to have 3 members. I mean, because that's why Skids has a giant right arm and Mudflap a giant left arm. Is they were originally a team of 3. The third one was going to be a smart car with an itty bitty pinhead, and they were going to be a combiner.
Where did you read this? This is the first I've heard of this.
Yeah, that's same here for me. I've never heard this.
It's documented. You can check the 2005 boards, Allspark, and all that.
Wow.
TF Wiki even. But yeah, it was going to be a smart car. But that idea was scrapped late in the show. But they kept the twins with their huge arms. Yeah, he was going to have just a teeny tiny head on him was the thing. And I guess kind of like how they scrapped the third RC bike, Elita 1, I think.
Let's not mention RC. Let's not mention RC.
I loved those designs. It took some doing, but I was able to combine the 3 bikes together. I thought it was really neat.
Why?
Because they're not slavish to the 2 arms, 2 legs, regular like Japanese robot looking face like you'd see in an anime. You had these alien designs. I mean, you had like Demolisher. He had scoops for arms, but he had giant freaking wheels.
We'll get to him later. I think.
Right. That's one thing.
It's so far outside the box. It really
That's true.
It really brought a new element to it that I thoroughly enjoyed.
Well, see, that's
Still
one
not
thing
sure about
about
Rampage bouncing around like a pogo stick, though. That one.
Yeah,
that's one thing
was
that took me a while to warm up to, and I'm still not entirely sure I like it. But the asymmetrical designs, the most of the Decepticons, a lot of the Decepticons, not all of them, but a lot of the Decepticons have animalistic type legs. Got the chicken leg thing going on, and I'm not really sure I kind of like that at all. But to make them different, I've got to understand that this is not G1. This is not really anything. It's its own beast. Right. So why not make it entirely different? But my biggest problem with the Transformers live-action movies overall is that there was so much creative license done with these. It begs the question, what makes this Transformers outside of there's robots that transform and some of the names are familiar? They completely ignore a good portion of the source material and lore and change it to something else. Something that is, it's Transformers in name only. And a lot of people are seeing that happen right now with the Power Rangers movie that's coming out. I know I'm, a lot of people may disagree with me on this point, but I think there was so much, in my opinion, there was so much changed about the live action movies that the core being of Transformers is not truly represented in these movies. What do you guys think about that?
I'm glad you brought up Power Rangers as kind of a for instance. Because, while there are a lot of similarities from the Heritage 93 series, that we all know and appreciate, there were a lot of changes, a lot of radical changes to set it so far apart from what we were familiar with. Prime example was Zordon, when they brought in Bryan Cranston to play the new Zordon. It looks like he stuck his face into one of those Walmart pin art things, like you get in the toy aisle. It's just like his whole face is made up of pins. Goldar even. I follow Nakia Baris, who was one of the Yellow Rangers, the second Yellow Ranger, I believe, on social media, and she was even not a fan of Goldar's design. She was wondering what happened and trying to come to terms with that. She's like, that doesn't remind me of Goldar at all. That's a big gold sloppy thing.
Well, you take the characters and change them so much. It's one thing to create. Well, let's use The Last Night, for example. Hot Rod. We spoke about this on the podcast, way back whenever it was first announced. But whenever you change the design of the character, and you take away the core, the key visual cues from a character, like Hot Rod, he's generally red. He's generally got a yellow spoiler on his back, and he has flames on his chest. If you want to variate that and make him a more rounded robot and something, make it look like a movie thing, at least give him the visual cues. Give him a spoiler on his back. Give him the red paint job and the flames on the hood. If you want to make him a Lamborghini, then make him a Lamborghini. But and he doesn't even have to have the. And we've seen this in Transformers before. That just because they have a visual cue in robot form doesn't necessarily mean they have it in the vehicle form. So he could have the spoiler in robot mode. He just doesn't have a spoiler in vehicle mode.
That pretty much covered what I was about to say right there.
Yeah, up to this point with the Last Night Hot Rod, before then, the most radical departure we'd gotten from that, I think, would have been the Energon Rodimus, where he was a semi. But even then, he still had, flame paint deco. He still had a spoiler. It wasn't yellow, but it was still a spoiler on the back of the cab. So I mean, there were still certain things that invoke, hey, this is Hot Rod, or this is Rodimus, in some capacity. But I look at this, what we've seen, is what's been revealed, and I mean, granted, yes, there are some portions of it that are red, but otherwise, I look at it and I'm not seeing anything that would cause me to think, hey, that looks like Hot Rod. I mean, you look at Optimus Prime. Okay, sure, he's got flames on him and this and that, but you have windows on the chest, you have a faceplate, you have the blue helmet with the horns. I mean, you look at that and you automatically know.
And he's pretty much the only one that is quintessentially Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
His character.
Prime.
I mean, go ahead.
But looking at Bumblebee, at first, a lot of us, were taken aback. It's like, what did they do to Bumblebee? What's wrong with him? His design is way off from what we were accustomed to in like Generation 1. But then I got to looking at it, and it almost feels as though not only had he finally matured over the years, but he finally adopted an alt mode or a robot mode more reminiscent to like Prowl and Smokescreen.
Pretty much, where you get the car's front on the chest and
the doors for the wings and all that. And so once I started thinking about it like that, I kind of was able to forgive and move past that because it so heavily reminded me of like what you would see on Blue Streak.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of neat. But looking at Hot Rod, I want to see something. I'm looking for something to recognize, and I'm not yet, unless I'm missing something.
Well,
maybe there's a
Tekatron on YouTube. He says the first movie, and this is his opinion, that the characters possess the core traits that define the original G1 characters. I disagree with that in the fact that Prime is more violent. He's more violent. Bumblebee isn't the shy. I mean, he does have the shyish, demeanor, but he doesn't speak. He's more brazen in the live action movies. Jazz kind of follows along the original Jazz. He's hip, he's cool. And Ironhide, I agree, and Ratchet. But then you get to the Decepticons, and outside of Starscream being treacherous, there's not much Starscream there. Megatron isn't, I just don't get the core feeling from the characters as I would. Now, that being said, I think the first movie was the closest in characterization to original characters. But beyond that, not so much.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now, let's move on to the toys, though. What were some of the most, I guess you could say, lauded toys of the movie eras? Especially, let's start with the first movie first. Let's go to the very first movie. What toys, in your opinion, really stood out as good toys?
I got one right here. This is the Night Watch. This is the Night Watch version of the 07 Optimus Prime.
You like that one?
Yes. Now, granted, its screen accuracy's not there, but I like this Prime. It's not the best Prime in the movies. Again, for all its complexity, the Revenge of the Fallen Prime is a lot better. But I still like this Prime. I still respect what they were trying to do. And I have to say, I love these Night Watch colors. It's probably not coming through very good because of the glare, but I can't think of very many Primes that are prettier than this Night Watch color scheme. And I still like this 07 mold, even though it is, old by this date. It's still one of my. I still proudly I bought a second one just to have it in the box for display.
I have to say when trying to pull together different words to describe Optimus Prime, pretty is never one I would have expected. That's a new one on me.
Yeah, but for me that Prime, the rest of them, it's I think I bought the Bumblebees because I bought most of the movie line because I remember being a Target close to Mom's house, and they didn't even know the day of the release date. They didn't even know this stuff had a release date. They had a 12-foot section that was completely empty, and I stood there and waited for them to pull the stuff out of the back. I said, "Y'all's release date on this stuff is today, and I'm here to buy some of it. So could you bring something out for me to take a look at it?" They finally brought everything out and just gave me first chance, and I bought everything I wanted. I got the Starscream, and I bought the Prime and all that. But a lot of the design, like you were saying, Duron, a lot of the designs I bought them again because I was caught up in the hype. But looking back, they just weren't the characters I was.
You had no emotional attachment to those toys.
Exactly. I still bought them. I kind of like the Ratchet. I like the Prime. I bought the Starscream with the Gatling gun hands, which I've never bought those. But yeah, the Prime is probably my favorite from the line. Looking back with a bit older eyes and wishing I hadn't quite bought as much.
I want to key on something you said there, Don, and that goes back to our discussion on the characterization of the characters in the movie, in that the movie toys did not have the appeal to me because I did not emotionally have the connection to the characters in the movie as I did, say, G1 Prime and G1 Bumblebee. Or even for that matter, RID Prime, or whatever. I just didn't have the emotional connection to it. So their characterization in the movie was not so. It was so far off that it just didn't resonate with me, and it translated to the toys too. I bought. I was like you, Don. I bought I think I bought everything of the very first movie. I had one of everything, and
yeah, I mean,
it wasn't 6 months later after the movie hype had died down. I got to sitting and I was looking at all the 07 movie toys, and I'm like, I don't care about any of these, not a single damn one.
I mean, I like Blackout. I like Barricade. Again, the two punish and enslave kind of, it sort of endears you to Barricade, and the transformation was interesting.
If I had to pick one, Barricade would be my favorite, I would think.
Yeah, but I'm looking back, like Armada, Energon, and Cybertron. I wish I hadn't bought as much those first couple of movies because, again, the attachment's not there. Again, older and wiser heads.
Well, and I. We talk about this from time to time whenever we speak about just collecting in general. Why I continue to refocus my collection and go back to my roots. G1 characters. Everybody that is a member of the group right now knows that I'm in the middle of a massive sell-off right now, mainly because I'm out of work right now for health issues, but I'm selling off a whole bunch of figures, and the ones that I'm keeping, I'm still going to have a decent collection. I'm keeping all of my Masterpiece, all of my G1, what little that I have, and G1 characters. It's because it's something that I resonate with. I look at those characters and I feel an emotional attachment to them, whereas newer lines, it's like, I might love that toy because it's a really cool toy, but I don't love it because I love that character because it's not as endearing to me. And that is exactly true for the live action movies. What do you guys think about that?
Well, first off, I want to say hi, Massey, back there taking a bath for all to see. He's over your left shoulder. But yeah, I agree to an extent. There have been quite a number of characters and figures that have been pushed out in these different lines and that you don't really have that connection to for various reasons. You know, could be maybe they weren't in the movie or they weren't in the cartoon at all, and they're just a repaint just to fill shelf space. Mm-hmm. But all the same, that there are still some of those that really resonate with you and that just really pop.
I mean, I can go and pick up even like Combiner War Cyclonus, for example. He is not exactly G1 Cyclonus, mm-hmm. but he has enough of the visual cues. You know, that's a buzzword there. He has enough of the visual cues for Cyclonus that whenever I pick it up, in my head, as I look at it, I can still hear Roger C. Carmel's voice mm-hmm.
speaking.
You know, he invokes enough of that value and that meaning to me that I like to keep that toy. You know, it's not necessarily, you know, it's not the G1 toy, so if I have to part with it, that's fine. But, you know, we get to the movies, and yeah, there were some great toys in there, like Barricade. You know, the Leader Starscream that came out in Revenge of the Fallen, that was a phenomenal toy. Leader Jetfire, phenomenal toy.
Still kicking myself for not picking that up.
Same. That was one figure I wished I had.
Yeah, and
so cool.
You can't seemingly find it for under $100 now.
Yeah. I mean, it was very much. It had the G1 Silverbolt. The G1 Silverbolt problem in that, really, if you look at it from the top down, really nice SR-71 or mm-hmm. you know, realistic jet. You turn it over and you got a box on the bottom and lots of robot parts. Yep. You know, but you know, sometimes there's concessions that need to be made.
He had landing gear for a cane, so it's all good. We can forgive it.
That one I found a good gimmick too. I actually like that one.
Even the Legends figure had the landing gear.
Yeah, it did. Yep.
Now, what do you guys think? What are your thoughts on just the toys in general over the course of the movies, the live action movies?
Well,
I'll go ahead, Dom.
No, you go ahead, man. I'll go after you.
Okay. Well, admittedly, I did not pick up anything from Age of Extinction. Simply due to the fact I was focusing on Combiner Wars, so that had my attention. You know, finally getting a proper Computron and getting all these different G1-esque figures and teams. So I kind of skipped over. I'm looking back now. I should have picked up the Dinobots because they're just such interesting designs. But I missed out on them overall. But to this day, I still say Revenge of the Fallen has to be the one movie out of the series so far that has all of my favorite designs. I mean, you've got the Leader class Optimus and Jetfire. To this day, I think that's still one of the best designed movie Optimuses that we've had. Although I'm more a fan of the Voyager version of that mold, Battle Blades, I think it was.
Yep, I got it right
here. But it's still an outstanding transformation. Yeah, right there. And he had the Matrix in him. He had the Matrix in his chest. Who doesn't love that?
Let me...
Don, I am jealous. I am jealous.
Yeah, I've got the Family Mart, the clear...
Yes.
Again, I'm a sucker for these crystal plastics. This is the clear Revenge of the Fallen Optimus Prime. I got it at BotCon in St. Charles.
Don't take that out of the box. It'll turn to dust. It'll crack. Oh no,
it's not. It's not ever leaving the box. It's going to be my precious.
I mean, you don't need translucent plastic after all.
You know, I've never had that problem with translucent plastic figures. I've owned many.
I've never.
I mean,
I've
had
but I'm not taking a risk with this one.
Yes, don't.
Basically, I traded the BotCon, the Beat chip that we got that year, and $10 for this. So I got a pretty good deal.
Epic win. But Revenge of the Fallen designs, I fell in love with a lot of them because they were so far outside the box.
Well, they had generally the best designs overall out of all the movies.
Yeah, they did.
I absolutely think so. I mean, just look at the ice cream truck here. You know, Skids and Mudflap. That's two Transformers together, and it works. Everything fits. There's no kibble. You know, I mean, it looks like an actual ice cream truck. It is outstanding. You take the RC bikes. You know, Elita 1 and Chromia. You know, all three of them, you got to kind of work with it, but, you know, once you get it all together, you combine it into something that looks like it could really stomp some Decepticons. You know, these are just some outstanding designs. Demolisher, like I was saying earlier, you know, you've got this little bitty head of evil, like this evil face. He's got giant scoops for arms coming out, and then he has these giant wheels that are going to crush the crap out of you. No regular hands, no regular legs, just a giant mass of "I hate you and I will kill you."
What was
I love that.
What was it?
Pretty much.
Did they call the long haul the dump truck?
That was long haul.
Did they call it long haul?
Yeah, it was long haul.
Yeah, and
I really like.
and then
I dug that
payload
design.
I think was the yellow recolor.
Yeah.
Yep.
I really dug that design. That was. I remember when the first time I saw it on we saw a I want to say a line art mock up of it before before the movie came out, and I was blown away by how awesome that design was.
Now, wasn't that originally slated to be a leader class, but they decided to keep it Voyager?
I think it was. I think I
know.
remember reading about that. I forgot what it was. I'll have to look it up.
Okay, I was thinking it was supposed to be a leader class. I could be thinking of something else.
The one thing that amazed me about this Optimus Prime, just the overall movie truck mode, not counting the evasion mode, which was a throwback, but the standard long nose flames added.
Peterbilt.
Yeah, Peterbilt. How many different transformations we've gotten from that base design? Same truck, same kind of robot, but how many transformations? It's like, oh, Hot Rod has 3 transformations in the animated movie. We can beat that. Lo and behold, they did.
Pretty
So
much.
We need you to go to the other side of town. How many different routes can you take and still get there?
Exactly, and it's like I said, same truck, same overall truck mode, same overall robot mode, but so many different ways of getting there from one to the other. Which is I think, which I was going to say this, as far as the movie toys go, a double-edged sword is the complexity. We got more complicated, more involved, more unique transformations.
This brick.
Oh,
Pain in the ass.
I never got Sentinel transformed. He's just sitting in a box somewhere. Well,
I never
Prime.
owned the leader class version of that, and I heard too many horror stories on it.
My shoulder clip broke and his arm keeps flapping.
Yeah, as good as this mold looks, and as pretty as all the I've got the black Amazon version, I've got this crystal version, I've got the Jetwing version Toys R Us had. I have a lot of this mold because I just love the way it looks in robot mode. But it is an absolute god-awful nightmare for me to transform. And
This
I
is the
think,
only version I have.
Yeah. Well, you got one of the good ones too.
Yep.
But that's part of the problem. I think we got too complex. We got innovation for innovation's sake versus does the character, excuse me,
Sorry,
Need
Don, are we not entertaining you?
no. No. Coffee's key. I've had too much
Wake
coffee.
him up, Massey. Wake him up.
Stay off the decaf.
But that I think that's the. I mean, we got these great points, but then you saw in Dark of the Moon and Age of Extinction how we got some slightly less complicated figures, especially your Optimus, especially for that first edition Age
Smaller
of Extinction
scale, too.
one. Yeah, smaller scale. So that's one thing I'm glad we got a little more complicated, but at the same time we also got to the point where it's like, let's be innovative, but not that the character needs it, just to make it more complex for the older people. And it's like, I can't figure out how this goes. Okay, it's going to sit on the shelf. You know,
Pretty much.
I have to apologize to our listeners in the case you guys are maybe picking that up in the background. I've got neighbors across the street that seem to decide now that my entire house needs to vibrate through dimensions.
Well, you do live near an airport. I'm surprised we don't hear airport sounds.
No, that's actually relatively quiet. I'm literally also right next to the 465 highway here in Indy, like the other side of the guardrail, and I never hear traffic. But these knuckleheads across the way, they've woken me up at midnight before blasting the music.
Yeah, Duron, one day we're going to hear the white zone is for loading and unloading. No, the red zone is for unloading and unloading. Don't you tell me what the white zone is for.
Wow.
But no, it's usually pretty quiet here otherwise.
But yeah, so that's me on the movies. Dark of the Moon, I got the primes, I got some of the figures. Age of Extinction, Dinobots, I bought them. Wish I hadn't. Jim, I'll probably sell you mine. I'll sell you mine cheap.
Hey, throw me a list together and make me an offer. We'll haggle.
I think the good balance of complexity and characterization in the smaller figures. This is my favorite deluxe.
Is that the sidearm or is that the regular?
Sidearm, sides white. I think this is
good
where
design.
I think this is kind of where they needed to stop with the complexity on the deluxes, because it's kind of more involved, especially compared to your Dark of the Moon version. But it's not so involved that you just get frustrated and just give up. Now this is a Jasper. Yeah. This. Oh God. Yes. When you watch 4 different video reviews and the instructions, and you can't get the thing transformed, there's an issue.
That was me with Dark of the Moon Sentinel.
Well, there's a trick to Revenge of the Fallen Mixmaster. Okay, you got the cement truck, right? You take and grasp the front of the cab in your left hand, and the barrel in the right, and you fling it as hard as you can at the nearest wall. Ta-da! Robot mode.
Well, to me,
and then say "c'est là."
Voila.
To me, Mixmaster was kind of like the Mach Kick, because I can never transform Mach Kick in one piece. So I pulled them apart at the waist, transformed each half, and then put them back together again, because I could never get Mach Kick to actually transform right. But I think for the deluxes, I think the sidearm side swipe is a good middle of the ground. Now I will say this: one of the best the best things we got from the movie lines, 2 things. There during Revenge of the Fallen, we got some awesome Scout class figures. Absolutely awesome. Ransack, the biplane. Odd robot design, but one of my favorites.
Well, wasn't that the Cyberverse that came out during Dark of the Moon? Yeah, those were some really great figures.
Yeah.
Those
great complexity in a small package.
So Cyberverse Prime with the 3D glasses packed in with it was actually the first Dark of the Moon figure released.
I still have Hatchet. Yeah. I love that little guy.
Hatchet, definitely. And then the other line that I think the movie really nailed was Human Alliance. I think most of the Human Alliance figures, Jazz looks great.
Jazz knocked it out of the park.
I was able to get a Soundwave from eBay, the Dark of the Moon Soundwave. He's kind of weird looking in robot mode, but I still like him. Bumblebee, I've got Human Alliance Bumblebee. I haven't transformed him in years, but I've still got him. That's why I'm not getting the MP Bumblebee for last night, because I'm not spending $80 for a movie Bumblebee, and my Human Alliance is just fine.
If you want Human Alliance Bumblebee, but want an easier transformation, but it's essentially the same toy, just go for Battle Blade Bumblebee.
Yeah,
there you go.
It's the same thing. It's a deluxe car and a Voyager robot. I mean, what's not to love?
Yeah. So to me, that the Scouts that we got, some of the deluxes like Sidearm Sideswipe, the overall the Human Alliance figures, I think are some of the strongest figures we've gotten from the movie lines in general. Dinobots were a real disappointment to me. I don't know what I wanted from them, but it wasn't what we got.
If they had went more filled out and less skeletal, I think they would have been more enjoyable.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, in all fairness, they were made from the bones.
Yeah. Well, do y'all remember dinosaurs?
Yes.
That's
Not
what they
not too
reminded
thoroughly,
me of.
but I remember them.
You know, that's what they reminded me of was dinosaurs. You know, just too much skeletal and stuff. Stuff is like you had a base skeleton and stuff was just sticking off of it without actually, like you said, Duron, without it being filled out and looking like a figure, a character.
Now, that being said, though, Scorn was pretty good.
Scorn, I like.
Scorn is good. Slog is not too bad.
I like Snarl, but the green translucent plastic kind of won me over on him.
The colors were great, but those arms, the forearms,
the arms are horrible.
oh god, that enraged me. There's no excuse for that whatsoever.
What was wrong with the arms?
They
just kind of, you know.
Do you have Generation or Titan Return Sharkticon? No.
Not yet. I saw him, but I chose Kickback.
The forearms, the forearms that become like the fists, and they're also the feet for the beast mode.
Yeah.
Just imagine that for Snarl, but on a little bit bigger scale. It just it does not work at all for that toy. But my personal favorites from the Dinobots are Scorn and Slog. I wish Slog didn't have rubbery bits.
Yeah, that was the one thing that prevented me from getting them was the rubbery bits. I didn't want them to deteriorate. I do have figures that had rubber bits, but they're like slowly just like pretty much deteriorating to where it's like almost non-existent. I'm like, that's
I have the fear down the road that with ones like Slog and the ones that's got the rubbery pieces on them that we're going to have. I don't know if you've ever had a chance to see or handle the Monstructor or Dino King, the Pretender shells. How they develop. Even some of the older rubbery pretenders, like from Monstructor, the Pretender shells over time, the oils in the petroleum start leaking out and form a slime that covers the toy, and I'm afraid that's going to be what happens to the to like Slog, and a lot of it's going to lead to like dry rot, and just eventual tears and breakage.
So much like their real life predecessors, the Dinobots may one day turn into crude oil.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
it's the circle of life.
Yeah.
One thing I was
not Puddle. Me Grimlock King.
No, you Puddle. One thing I'm going to bring up about the movies, and it does relate to the toys, but it's also like, for example, one of the things I like. They're not my favorites, but they're not fast action battlers. But if you remember, like this simple, like Junkie,
I hated those.
Well, there's a lot of those that I like. Junkie, I like. The Galvatron in this size is really nice for their size and complexity. But the thing that really made me so ill about the overall movie line, especially the last couple of years, the trade dress.
It all was the same. Yeah.
And we understand how you have to have a unified theme, so when you're on the shelf, parents will know this is from the movie, which we I got that. Trust me, I got that. But there's so little differentiation between the lines within the movie category that you look down a row and you say, "Oh, great, they've restocked the deluxes."
No,
and it was these.
Yeah.
And it was you had to sort through what was your base figures from your deluxes and trying to figure out, is it new, is it old,
Well, and you had a lot.
That's
where you had a lot of stores. The employees would get confused and stock those battle changers or whatever they were called, and the deluxes. All on the same peg because they look so much alike.
I can't tell you how many times I was in my Toys R Us or my Kmart or when I went to my Walmart, whatever the case may be, and I would have to fix it because it would make me so.
Your OCD would just be firing off.
Well,
absolutely.
It's like this stuff is not going to sell if you're having you're having these $10 toys in the $14 slot, because then we'll never get any of the $14 toys in because people,
Precisely.
they're all clogged and nobody's buying them.
Or they'll have them on the wrong pegs and not order the right ones because they think they have them in stock.
Right.
Pretty much. Yep.
That's my thing. The main thing is they drop the ball on distinguishing within the line itself, and I'm hoping for Lost Night, for the spin-offs and all the subsequent movies, the trade dress is a bit better differentiated within the movie line.
The main way I found to tell them apart on the fly like that, because I too had reorganized the aisles and the pegs and things, was the deluxes have that slant, that inclined edge on the one side.
Yeah.
So it wasn't by the amount of dust on the top.
No.
I think there's still some stores out there that may have some Age of Extinction stuff on the shelf.
I saw a small last fall at TJ Maxx, but nothing since then.
My Ollie's currently the first wave that came out that had crosshairs with that giant fist punch action. Mm-hmm. My Ollie still has these.
Wow.
I want to say it was mid 2014. My Walmart still had a Dark of the Moon top spin on its peg. I was like, yeah.
That was a good figure.
It was okay.
Now, I did like a couple of these, and for the audio listeners, I'm holding up One Step Grimlock. I mean, they are not fantastic toys, but if you want to have something on your desk that is a quote-unquote fiddle former, this is a great toy. I mean, you just pull his arms out and he transforms, push his arms in and he transforms. Fun little thing, just fidget with, not necessarily a great toy, not a lot of posability, well, virtually no posability, but it's still fun.
That's what I liked about the One Step Stinger. Seeing how that was pretty much the only Stinger we had.
He was pretty much a butterfly knife, wasn't he, or something?
I think it was, yeah.
Was it? It was.
But I mean, yeah, but I mean, pretty much, even for a one-step changer like that, just press the button and boom, here you go. I'm like, I actually still kind of like this. This is kind of cool. I mean, obviously, it's just something to like you said, put on your desk, maybe like a paperweight or something. I'm like, it's still kind of cool.
If you want a good paperweight, get the Gravity Bots. Them things were just.
Oh, I had one too.
Like little packets of Dwarf Star material. It's like, what? But that's one thing I was going to ask y'all as far as the movie toys go, and I want to get y'all's opinion, because one thing that really upset me, and I understand you have to have toys to hit all the demographics and all the price points. Mm-hmm. But my opinion is that the movies have had too much frou-frou. Little piddly.
Define frou-frou.
That's what I am, frou-frou. Little piddly things that I never saw anybody buy. They were on peg hooks forever. That seemed like they were bad ideas, like the Dinobots with the riders with the sparks inside.
Oh yeah, those.
Something like that.
Burn them with fire.
Yeah. Okay. One,
peg warmers galore.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking, what? I mean, I know what they were trying to do, and I understand that. I understand what they were trying to do, but I have to say, when we get that kind of stuff, do they not think this stuff? Do they think that all that stuff is going to actually sell? Because I mean, it doesn't do anything. It was like $8 or $9, and the sparks were all internal, and it barely sparked at that. Hell, my G1 Monster bots sparked more than them things did.
Well,
and
that's
30 years old.
That's probably due to the safety regulations.
Yeah,
more than anything. It's probably why they were enclosed. And all.
But it's just, I want the movies to not do this piddly little.
A lot of filler.
It seems like it's like Dragon Ball Z toy filler. It's like just to fill out the line on a bunch of trying to like a shotgun approach. Let's do this. 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 Which I understand what they're trying to do, but past history has shown a lot of this stuff doesn't sell. Mm-hmm. So why dump money into, or you keep making wave after wave after wave when it's clear it's not moving, or by that point maybe the stores have already bought it. Hasbro doesn't really care anymore because it's the store's inventories that they have to deal with. Something like that. I know, but what do y'all think?
I agree that I think there's been quite a bit of filler. I mean, I could see like with the first film trying to capitalize because it was the new big thing. It hadn't been done before in cinema, and you know they were pushing Bumblebee as the kid relatable character. You had wrapping paper, you had shoelaces, just all kinds of different merchandise on top of the extra generic filler figures that weren't even in the film. But I don't know, after 10 years it seems like that buzz should have worn off and they should be able to focus more on the main characters and the main series. But like you were saying, we still get the little figures that like $9 and they don't do hardly anything, or the ones that spark. And I think those are like this generation's jump starters. Those are the toys you buy.
They're worse than jump starters.
Those are the toys you buy your kid and throw in the cart just to shut them up.
Jump starters are awesome.
Like, here, you got a Transformer, but it's not a good one. I don't care. Shut up. It's a GoBot. Deal with it.
What do you think, Jack?
Honestly, they nailed it. I can't think of anything else. Yeah, pretty much they covered it perfectly. Now I can't think of anything else. Plus,
I mean, we've had guests on before. I know we had Eric Siebenahler, and I remember he was saying some of the things. I believe it was him that was saying some of the things that the reasons why you had so much filler on the shelf is that the stores were saying, okay, these movies are making a crap ton of money. We need more product on the shelf, because if you remember the very first movie, a lot of the toys was flying off the shelf. There's some of the characters I hardly saw at all on the shelf.
From Bumblebees.
Yeah, except for Bumblebee. Bumblebee was everywhere. And that was throughout the entire run of the movies. But, some of the other characters, it was harder to find them. So, the stores were demanding more product, and they had to throw something out there to satiate these stores' demands.
Well, Duron, do you remember what we did at RFC a couple years ago with Operation Beehive? We were, for donations for toys for tots, we were telling people, go out and buy all the extra Bumblebees and get them off the shelf if you want to make a donation to Toys for Tots, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, we had that up here too.
Whatever the case may be.
Yes. So, but yeah, that it's just, I know you got to have the filler stuff. It's just, it seems like they would want to be a little bit tighter on their focus if they're skimping on paint and skipping on this and that to save money and because of cost and stuff. Having a tighter product focus seems to me it would be a lot better than making the toys you are look worse than they could be.
Yeah. Well, wasn't it around Age of Extinction whenever they moved principal production to Vietnam?
I think it was around that, or it might have been just
maybe Dark of the Moon.
But I mean, something about that factory is like their QC has just never been up to par. It seems like, because I mean, look at all the QC problems. I mean, even this Titan Returns hot rod, I've got to do his legs are rather loose.
Yeah. And when we're talking about Titan Return a few weeks ago, my Skull Cruncher that I lifted up and just basically So
Yeah.
you see all of his Skull Cruncher. He was just doing like the little Russian dance. Da 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 da. His legs just flying everywhere.
Oh, I picked him up off the shelf and his leg fell off.
Wow.
That's not good.
Well, it doesn't have a leg to stand on.
That's not good. Well, yeah, I mean, you pop it on there and just rest it. He'll rest on it.
Or it's like Scourge, and you just move him just a little bit, and his head is like a bobblehead. It's just like, what
that's more a design flaw than anything. That the neck mount where you attach the Titan Master is up, and there's not much around it to hold it in place. So,
but
yeah,
going back to the movie, so just the sheer amount of product that was on the shelf, and a lot of it was just utter crap. Not just the designs, but I mean, some of the toys, like you said, those Spark Battlers or whatever the hell they were called, they were useless. I know the Walmart here in this town, over the course of a year, unless they sold and restocked in between the times I went there, those Spark Battlers, I don't think they sold a single freaking one for an entire year. Not until they were put on the clearance aisle for deep discount.
Yeah,
prime example of movie toys that were total crap. Protoforms Starscream in particular.
Oh, I honestly
it's Transformers the Flaming Turd.
I honestly love those.
I'm surprised he didn't have corn in him. I mean, you got the flame out the back. He's a giant brown lump.
Yeah, it was. I mean, for a preview figure, it was kind of interesting. You were kind of trying to see where they were going to. I mean, I really didn't have a problem with those. It's just it seems like all the stuff they made that was taking away from either making other stuff or making the stuff they had look better.
Well,
so I'm hoping
oversimplification didn't help either.
Yeah. I like Gravity Bots. The one-step changers, these guys, Deluxes, Voyagers, and so forth. It's just all the other stuff that didn't really seem to have a place other than just to have movie product out, like you were saying. But it's just a waste, is what it seemed like to me.
Then another thing I just happened to think, one thing that we're forgetting as far as the movie stuff is there was also a line between films during the same time we were getting Generations and Reveal the Shield. Was we got movie figures in that. I think it was it Reveal the Shield?
Hunt for the Decepticons?
Hunt for the Decepticons. That's right, the yellow package.
Yep.
Yeah.
And yes, we got the Battle Blades Optimus and the Battle Blade Bumblebee, but who doesn't love Axer and Lockdown?
There were some clear, nice repaints.
Yeah.
But the Axer from that, I mean, granted, it wasn't exactly the Action Master that we all know and love, but that was a phenomenal toy. It had an amazing transformation, and like the Battle Blade Bumblebee that was also in that line, it was a deluxe car, but a Voyager robot.
Yeah, Battle Blade Bumblebee. I liked from Age of Extinction. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite figures is Hound.
Oh yeah, I love it too.
Hound.
It was fun.
Hound really turned out well.
With that particular toy.
I've not either. Is he like a fat ballerina, like you said in the movie?
No, his stomach is toned down, but I think
Really?
I forgot what third party company it was, but they did make it to where they actually released this little mesh stomach belly thing.
Somebody released a third party robot gut.
Yeah.
And also for those watching, if you're familiar with, I know Duron even mentioned it, the Wai-Zhang, who did that really good upscale leader Evasion Optimus, did an upscaled version of Hound with some die cast and a lot more movie accuracy. So that's out there as well.
And some paint, some much needed paint.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That does help.
Speaking of not enough paint, Galvatron from Age of Extinction. Box on the back of a robot and no freaking paint.
Yeah. I love the way they was able to engineer the collapsing cab. That was very interesting, the way they got that to work with almost no backpack. But if I want Games Workshop gray, I'll go buy a FASA figure and not paint it.
Pretty much.
I could just imagine the instruction booklet.
But I think we've talked enough about the lines and some triumphs and failures from pretty much every line. Before we wrap up, do you have any expectations for the last night before we start actually seeing toys on the shelf? Now we do know that we've seen the Last Night Prime, which I think he's just a slightly retooled version of the AOE Prime, isn't he? The leader one.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
No,
but that could be that. Maybe that's because if something happens in the movie where we end up with a new Optimus getting a new body, or even someone say, "Oh, Rodimus Prime showing up." Well, that they wouldn't be showing that anytime soon because it would be a spoiler. But
it's not like it would ruin forever the franchise or nothing.
Well,
if as somebody, I like the picture or the comment somebody had on one of the I think it was one of the dreads. There was a prototype shown of that, and somebody's comment just summed it up perfectly for me, and it was, "I am Groot."
the one thing is that it's just I want. Oh my God, my thought just went out the window.
It's your age, Don. You're just getting senile.
It was an awesome observation, and I have no idea what the hell I was going to say.
Well, looking at what we're going to be getting, or what's been revealed so far, I'm honestly wondering if Squeaks, the little Vespa scooter, I'm wondering if that's going to be a sleeper hit. If that's going to end up being the most awesome figure in the line. And, kind of like with Skids and Mud Flap, the ice cream truck thing, how that was a pleasant surprise. And, it seemed silly at first, but then everybody ended up loving it.
It was a surprise anyway.
Well, sure.
I'm likely going to pass on them all.
You think so?
I'm unsure.
Yeah. I will. One other figure. I would like to see them have another quality figure. Dark of the Moon Megatron in that Voyager is an awesome figure. And
I'd be remiss to not mention that one.
Not sure about the whole tarp thing, but yeah, that was a good. That was a good figure.
Yeah, at least they didn't do the toy with elephant shooting action, so that was always a plus.
What?
Yeah, there was a cut scene in which basically Megatron shoots one of the elephants in Africa that's him or something. It was a
deleted scene or something.
Okay, yeah. See, I had a completely different thing. I was thinking like that there was like an elephant missile or something, and I don't know. I'm tired.
I can see that.
Well, with that, I think we've
how much
with elephant missiles.
He wants to throw an elephant at you. Whoosh! That's evil.
With that, I think we've beat this into the ground, guys. I think you've had some good thoughts here. I hope everyone else has enjoyed the show tonight and had some thoughts along the lines that of the subjects that we've talked about tonight. I'm eager to see The Last Night in the theater, but I'm not really. I don't think I'm. I don't even know if I'll see it on opening night. Probably, if I'm available, but the toys I am not jonesing about at all. Maybe it's just me getting all curmudgeon-y or something, but that's how I feel on it. But I think we've had some good topical discussion tonight. Hope everyone has enjoyed the show. I want to remind everybody we have a Patreon going on, patreon.com/TFYLP. If you love what we do here on TFYLP and want to see us continue and help us out, because it does take money to do this. We got server fees, we got to upgrade software, we got to upgrade equipment. And keep getting better for you guys and more enjoyable. I think the product that we're putting out right now looks and sounds phenomenal. What do you guys think? It's a lot of hard work that we put into this, and we thank you fans for continuing to support us and be there with us. And thank you for everyone that is a part of our Patreon and continues to be a part of our Patreon. Patreon.com/Patreon, or I'm sorry, Patreon.com/TFYLP. Check us out there. Support us. And most importantly, if you're watching us here on YouTube, go down there right now and subscribe if you haven't already. That's important to us. It tells a lot of people that you like us, and share us across all your social media platforms. Tell people you love TFYLP. Tweet us at TFYLP on Twitter. We're across a lot of other social media platforms. Instagram, tftalk.net official. Point that out. Check us out everywhere you go. And of course, the Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/ anybody want to guess?
TFYLP?
Right. Yeah.
Yay!
Not hard to find. Woo. Not hard to find. We got a lot of great members on there. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight. Don, Jack, Jim, thank you all for joining us tonight.
Good night, gang.
Well, stay safe.
Good night, everybody.
Buy Duron's toys.
Yes, I need help.
Buy his toys.
See you guys.